Athena Education for Social Grace.
So, you told me that you were an ex-banker, and of course, 30 years of banking experience, which makes you in that particular industry expert. But again, you came to education all of a sudden when we see that you started schools and you are being focused in that. So, I have always a doubt in that particular thing, because what made you think, or what pushed you into this particular industry?
Thank you. What pushed me from banking into education as a service, and what made me grow, made me know the entity grow on a fast track to what we are today. Today, in reality, in a 5 years period, we are mostly the second largest entity by student numbers. May not be by capital. And what made all this happen? I think that is the question. Before I say what made it happen, I should answer you why it happened. Then, what was reasons to go and compliment the world? See, in our life, in your life, there are critical events that happen which even you may not know. But those events change your track. You are born, you are moving in one direction. Suddenly an event happens, your track changes. Those events of your life, of anybody's life, happens to you beyond you being the cause. The Creator is the cause. We may not know that. What was my first turning point? When I was 7 years old, 8 years old, my father passed away. For good, for bad, no. Father passed away. Left alone with my mom at a young age, with a sister in a village far away in India, in the southern state of Kerala. The death of the father was terrible. Now, you have to do everything. Mom alone, sister is studying in the university. So me and my mom have a small plot of land. We need to cultivate everything for our own feed. And we need to cultivate, go to the school by walking, no chappal, no shoes, walk barefoot, come back barefoot, minimum 2 pairs of dress, study at night on a kerosene lamp. You have to dare it. When every colleague of you come in comfort with their father, I used to think many days, where is my father to guide me? Everyone gets guided by father, mother, uncles, and they have several comforts. I don't have all this. Instead, I don't know, God said, don't focus on what you don't have. Focus on what you have to do. That was a turning point. Struggle for your studies. And finally, I come out of the university with a rank. And then my job was to get into a bank, because that dream was very deep to get into a bank. And I got into a bank as an officer. But when I was working in the bank, another event happened, like my father's death. That event was meeting an Indian saint, an unknown saint in a village, who I met through my marriage, my wife's relative. The second track change he brought in me. What he told me is, I know nothing. If you want to know what is your life, why are you born, you should study the religions. And he showed me, go and study first the Indian religion. A great religion that made the culture of humanity, as I said some time back. But as I studied the Indian religion, a strong thought came to me. Then why Buddha? Why? There was no need. But when I studied Buddhism, I understand one thing. Righteous life in the culture is what is required. Buddha was always telling, you have your values, you have your rituals, but live right if you want to maintain your culture. But problem of mankind is the way of a righteous life in a culture is disrupted by one's own greed. Greed for what? Greed for money, greed for power and position, greed for social position. This greed took him away from righteous life. Even people asked Buddha, is there a book of right? He said no. The best book for you to refer is your heart. Your heart, no. But as people become greedy, the righteous life vanished. And my thoughts went behind Jesus Christ, why he was born. Then I understood Jesus Christ from the kingdom of heaven. He came and said, a right life for you is not possible to you because your heart lack love. Without love, you cannot come to right. You need love. You need full of love. And who can give you? My Father in the kingdom of heaven. He is full of love. He knows only to love. You have no enemies. You bend on your knees, pray Him, ask Him for love, He will bestow you His love. Once your heart is filled in love, you like Him have no enemy. You go and love your enemy. You pray for your enemy. And when you are in love and in praise for your enemies, you with love, you are in right. A righteous life to protect the human culture, Jesus Christ and advised through love. A great message. But problem of humanity continued. He is unable to maintain the culture because greediness to the core. He has become an animal in a culture who is willing to break every law for his position, money, power and position. And the trust, the biggest factor of the culture is the trust. The trust is based on right and right is based on love. Now when all these gets challenged by breaking it, the Prophet, peace be upon him, was born. And he said, because my mind went for Quran and to know what Prophet, peace be upon him, said. And he said, a righteous life in love is not possible for you because you are unable to protect the culture and follow its rules. So therefore, I need to discipline you now. You have to come to discipline. There are values. If you want to love people, if you want to keep people in righteous, you should have certain values which is a covenant on you. You can't change. Unless those are covenants to you, no, as a man, this culture you will not protect. And you will break it, you will back to them. So he said, follow basic values. What's the first value? Share. If the culture has to remain here, whatever you are, whoever you are, the first value for you, these are all Athena's learning values. The first value for you is learn to share. That's why the religion said, go and fast. 30 days you fast. For what? To know hunger. When you know hunger and you are rich, you have food 4-5 times a day, someone is born with you in this culture who don't have a meal a day. He is a genuine person, not a lazy person, but he has no means. Now, will you eat all the 5 times without sharing him? So he prescribed certain covenants. Understand fast, because you are very rich now, not the gentleman. Share your food to the one who is hungry. Similarly, you have tons of clothes today. You don't know what to do with your clothes. There's a poor guy who don't have one cloth to cover his nakedness. Will you share or you will not? No covenant. Share the clothes. How much space you want to sleep? You are 5.5 feet. You may need a 5.5 feet space plus 3 feet width just to sleep. But what is the size of your house? Minimum 1,500 square feet to 10,000 square feet today. Maybe even more. There are people in this culture born who don't have a place to lie down. Is it not your job to help him to sleep, or your culture will be questioned? Learn to share. Then the biggest sharing is, what we very hardly will share is your money. You and I want to do business, then we will put our money together and do business. We make a profit. We share the profit. What about a third person there, born in the sin, has no money with him, he is praying God all the time, he is a weak member of the culture? Share a small profit, a portion of your money to him. So covenants upon covenants has been given to man to go back to love and right by allowing him to share. So is another value, care. Caring is, according to me, more stronger. Look at me. 2 eyes, nose, hearing, tasting, perfect body. What about someone there who cannot see? His what? Your culture? What about someone who cannot hear? What about someone who cannot speak? What about someone who cannot walk? No motions possible. Who is sick? What about someone in cancer? Is a vegetable lying there today? Is it not their fault? You say the culture of humanity that sustains made a jungle man into a civilized man under a culture. Learning for children to become an ardent member of the culture is when you learn to care those people, and you cannot be in love and right unless you know a covenant of caring on you. Makes a lot of sense. So, you have to care your culture, caring the one who is lost. A great value for the next generation. So is faith. As humanity grows under the culture, the more rich you are, the more professional you are, the more social positioning you are, you also, when you grow, the depth comes in you as a fear. If I lose, what if I lose my money? Where I can make a mistake, or who can cheat me? Who can throw my job? Who can throw my career? Who will take away my social positioning? Has become a big challenge on you. You have got into a fear in your culture. Of course, handling fear is another subject. These are all put into Athena learning values. I have come for that. But fear can be neutralized by faith. It's called resilience in Athena values, where you will not fear a failure. You are not disturbed by a failure. You are not tense and stressed by a failure. All that you know is to keep engaging in a pure faith of your God. That can be interpreted in any way: faith unto God, faith unto you, faith unto your God. These values I could learn as I completed my study of Quran. So when I studied these religions, I gained the best knowledge of the culture of mankind. I meditated upon these values maybe for 10 years in the night times of the banking days, which led me to take one decision. Banking is not what I could serve the culture. Enrich the culture is living it. And work out for social grace, where you will build this culture under the strong financial values. Social culture, anything in this world, you need like two hands. One is the value you will give to the culture, but second is the money through which you will work. Because money is that connects everyone in the culture. So I should become an expert in handling money and efficiently handling it, whereas use the money like water that flows through an engine to generate electricity and light. Money is that water. It should flow through the generators. Make the generator rotate. What comes out is power, which is your light, that is your social grace, your commitment, your surrender to the culture, to enrich the culture. Make a culture that will remain for years to come with increased challenges of the culture. He started the culture simply. Today the culture is very, very complicated. So learning values has to incorporate all this. If you ask me a question, even though you didn't ask me, what is the end of learning? Learn your culture. How to live in your culture. How to work in your culture beyond a job. And Athena stands for that. Build children to the culture. They find their values, they find their jobs, they become citizens of the world organization of humanity, human culture, and enrich the world. I left banking into Athena education.
Athena Education. For social grace. Athena Education is the leading educational institution in UAE.